Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. I'm your host, Colors Fade. It's episode 70, and we are ready to go into the palace and deal with the Animancy hearings. It is time to see what we can do about getting these people to listen to the leaden key. Okay. I'm not looking for news. I'm looking for this part, I think, although we may be in the balcony. We received word that you would be attending. Balcony is open to you. Excellent. Let the show commence. Duke Avar Wolfgren. The room below was animated amidst a heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible knights, stiff in their noisy armor, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Dominal, casual, watching with a predator's interest. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interspersed are animancers in their academic robes with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you Animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
Ramir de Barask is originally from Palminia. He's one of the finest minds in Animancy to come out of the Valian Republics. He left for Defiance Bay 5 years ago, because he believed this was the true heart of Animancy research.
In Pelagina's words, and the way she looks at her countrymen, you sense both pride and a mild sense of frustration.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that Animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud, and while the experiment failed, his work
was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from the dozens. What makes you say sabotage?
I met a false patient in Brackenberry Sanitarium who had tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
Those who know me around here know me to be fair in judgment. Cadman Azo should be held innocent.
Horseshit! These Animancers can't be trusted! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill! Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Are you sure this is your delegate, Adric?
You won't be for long making claims like that.
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justicia! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
The Crucible Knights. Let's see which one. Yeah. The Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the workings of Animancy, but an ancient device in Ter Naunath.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
My word is my oath. I challenge anyone here to find someone who knows different.
I had heard whispers of a new delegate set to attend today's hearing. I admit that your candor was mentioned more than once. Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
Ter Naunath houses an Engwithan machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead.
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of Animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
Their presence doesn't prove cause. This testimony is not evidence, it is a guess.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point. Everywhere there's animancers, there's disaster. We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge.
Ah, Torrent says, wrong bridge indeed.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it.
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son, my wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs he couldn't cough up. My daughter, we put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker.
He likes the F word, but he's not real smart, is he? People like that who draw conclusions without evidence drive me bananas.
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
The grieving mother reaches toward your mind with hers. Bring order to the chaos here. I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking a doubtful character. Right idea, Watcher. Taking this hearing by the curly ones. Don't waste your chance. Widewind's legacy is the creation of the Leaden Key. Caedmon Azo's downfall was their work, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fail. The dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Airglanfath operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls near towns like Gilded Vale and Deerford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I have heard their dead confess their plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
You shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, madam. I expected better from the Knights of the Crucible.
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
If you know anything about me, you know this. I have been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter.
The only piece of evidence.
The only piece of evidence that doesn't send your kind to the gallows, you mean?
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
The martyrs of the dozens supported my search for answers.
Though it would seem that not all of them were in on your investigation. Nevertheless, I am pleasantly surprised by their open-mindedness here. But these hearings are about more than Widewind's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
I would allow animancers to continue their work. They explore questions we all wish to understand. If we'd known more, perhaps this crisis could have been averted. Her face still, Pelagina looks your way and subtly nods in approval. I do not trust these animancers, grieving mother says, seeking first after gain and glory. but if they can heal our children, I would not hinder them.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my thoughts. And our new delegate, who has warned us of a new possibility that must be looked into. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir D. Barash, representing the interests of animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
It occurs to me now that my concerns about Animancy may not outweigh its value.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing? No! Avenge the doom!
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
Theos, you dirty dog.
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
Why did I just pass out? The words "shall I end it for you" ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around a wide circular pit carved of stone. He addresses a woman bound backward over a large iron wheel overlooking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like melted candle wax, black and red and seeping, and the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and then her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. Dominion of Sleepers. You open your eyes to the beamed ceiling of the palace's grand entry hall. Clangs of metal striking metal waft in from outside along the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theos is gone. Adair leans in, his head upside down in your sight as he peers down at you from above. Hey, you're alive. He looks you over, frowning. Can you move? We shouldn't stick around. When Deerwoodens get stirred up, they like to start burning things. Off to one side, you can hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and you look over to see a wounded guard slumping against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it's too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb. She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor. Well, Lady Webb, she said she had some whiskey for us. I'm not sure that that's exactly what she's going to find. Let's go. Try to get our way back to Lady Webb. Theos has ruined everything. Okay, wow. Stand down. We don't want to fight you. Yeah. Oh, jeez. They don't want to fight you, but they're gonna. We can't get out that way. Which way can we get out? This way? Great. Let's go. Mercenaries. Dead people. See him at the sanitarium. Get him. That doesn't look good for that guy. You lot are in league with the Animancers. Well, we don't have to fight any of them, so that's pretty good. We just had to move through it. No fighting. It's kind of surprising. We got boots. Jolting touch. Okay. These bozos, bunch of commoners. Burning down someone's house. Burning down the house. Animancers. Where are we? Oh, we're right here. Yeah, we're right. This is the right location. Let's go. It is a riot, isn't it? Man. Sanitarium's gonna get burned down. Uh-oh, Lady Web. This doesn't look good. Oh no. Everyone's dead. I'm gonna go collect the copper from here. What's on the table? Might as well thieve everything now. 'Cause there ain't nobody here to stop you. These guys all had their drinking money on them. Alright, my friends. Let's go over here. Anybody upstairs? Are we going to find Lady Web gasping her dying breath? Sure looks like it. I am a watcher, though. I can get some answers, maybe. Oh, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? Bummer. Did Theos finally come for her, or did just random people get her?
Finished.
Regular old pistol. Cash. Lady Web lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion, propping her back upright. The blood pooled beneath the gash in her chest is tacky and nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling hand. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it calms, you find yourself in the same room, lying in bed with a glass of brandy in your hand. Through the walls, from the streets outside, comes the sound of screams and shattering glass, and the cacophony of an angry mob. You take a sip, and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. Into the room walks Theos, the floorboards creaking beneath deliberate steps. You wait until the last of the brandy has trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You are concentrating, focusing with all of your energy. It feels as though you are diving into a stone wall over and over. But it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing the vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
Theos walks over to a small table and raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
His words come freely, absent of all doubt. He draws a long, curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins your sternum as he raises the knife in the other, its point dangling over your heart.
Prove it.
Theo slips the knife between your ribs and pushes it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness, and blood wells up around the blade. A pulse of reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife hand in both of yours, a question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open to you, unguarded, and the answer comes, simple, cataclysmic in its reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have an answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look at Theos with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time and draw your last breath as a black, velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenbury Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the leaden key itself.
And we are into Act 2. The Hermit of Hadred House. Well, assassin at large, travel to Twin Elms. We know what we have to do now. It's been a journey to get here. And I had miscalculated on one particular thing with regards to character builds, so I might as well talk about that now. My intention always is to have a pike and a greatsword, and to have soulbound weapons for everybody, and there is a soulbound greatsword. Unfortunately, I didn't look closely enough, and that soulbound greatsword, which can get in the future, only works for paladins, fighters, or barbarians. It does not work for ciphers. The only other sword that I could have got soulbound wise that would have been big is the Estoc that Pelagina has, but then I wouldn't have been able to use a pike for a second weapon. I would have had to do like I did with her and have an Estoc and then a warbow. That wouldn't have been a bad combination. I mean, that would be fine. There are plenty of warbows. I just always like the idea of having two melee weapons, but it still would have worked. Next playthrough, I'll have to do that instead. So what we're going to have to do is find like one like this, like Justice, a unique greatsword, and enchant it. And that's probably all. This does crush damage, so it does slash, pierce, and 10% of the damage is crush. So it's all three types. So I think what I might do is enchant this one, and then we'll start making our way eastward. Folks, it's been a good time. As always, if you dig it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Leave your questions and comments down below, and I will see you on the next one as we forge on to the east, but we also have to go back and revisit the White March again too. So thanks for watching. Tweak the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Happy gaming, everyone.